In this video, we're going to look at how we can build a data validation list where the number of items available to select from reduces as the user assigns them to cells. It requires the use of the new dynamic array formulas, so let's take a look. In the first table that I have here, called Jobs, I've got a list of jobs that are currently underway, and I need to assign 2 contractors to each job. The contractors are stored in the table called Contractors, and you can see I've got 4. Now the constraint is that each contractor cannot work on more than 2 jobs. So I'll use a data validation list that adjusts the contractors that are available based on how many jobs they're assigned to. So for this, I'm going to use the dynamic array filter function, which is currently only available in Office 365 on the Insiders channel. So we're going to use filter. What's the array? Well, it's the list of contractors. And which contractors do I want to include? Well, only those that are present in this column less than 2 times. So we're going to use COUNTIF to count the contractors based on this list here. And if they're present less than twice, we'll include them. That's the include argument. Of course, if you only wanted to use an item in the list once, you change the less than 2 to less than 1. And if they're all assigned, we're simply going to return the text, no contractors available. Let me just move this tooltip out of the way. We'll close the filter function and you'll see it spills the results to the cells below. And as I use up these contractors by assigning them to jobs, this list is going to reduce in size. So now all I need to do is assign data validation lists to these cells based on this list. So on the Data tab, going to go Data Validation, we want a list, and the source is going to be this range of cells here, but because this is a spilled array, I can use the spilled array operator, which is the pound sign, and that will mean that this range dynamically adjusts as the spilled array adjusts. So as we utilize the contractors against the jobs, this list will reduce and this will automatically adapt accordingly. So I'll click OK. Now we can go ahead and assign our contractors. We'll assign Bob and Jim to this job, and we'll assign Ron and Jim to this job. And notice that Jim is no longer in the available contractors list here, nor is Jim available in this list. So now I can assign Bob and Sam and Ron and Sam, and now we're down to no contractors available. They've all been assigned. Now one thing you might want to do, and I've done it here, is turn off the formula error indicator, which you can do on the File tab, under Options, in Formulas. Turn off Enable Background Error Checking. If you leave this on, and I'll turn it back on to show you, you can see I now have error indicators in all of these cells, and that's because the data validation is looking for this name in the list and it's not finding it, so it's returning a formula error. Obviously in this case it's not really a formula error. I've tricked Excel into working this way, so I can simply ignore these errors. I prefer just to turn off the error indicators via the Options in the Formulas tab. But just keep in mind, if you do this, then it's going to turn off error checking for all of your formulas in the workbook. That wraps up the reducing data validation list technique. A big shout out to Tony Barker, who introduced me to this idea, and MF Wong, who created a similar solution for single-use items, which I've adapted here. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more.